This is the king of the kingdom, Matt Taven, and don't be a Melvin, and get into the wrestling epicenter.
You're listening to Interactive Wrestling Radio, featuring the interactive interview, courtesy of WrestlingEpicenter.com.
All right, everyone, good afternoon. And thanks for taking part in the Ring of Honor Final Battle media call. Final Battle airs live from New York City this Friday, December 14th, at a new start time of 8 p.m. Eastern on traditional pay-per-view providers, free to Honor Club VIP, at a 50% discount for Honor Club Standard, and on Fight TV. Please visit ROHWrestling.com or the ROH app for more information. So for the card, in a highly compelling match of two of the greatest technical wrestlers and submission specialists in the sport, Jonathan Gresham will face international superstar Zack Sabre Jr. The villain, Marty Scurll, added his name to the history books when he won the Survival of the Fittest tournament by last eliminating Christopher Daniels. However, Daniels needs leverage for a lifeline to extend his ROH stay, and at Final Battle, he faces the villain for Scurll's ROH World TV title. If Daniels falls short, this could be his last ROH match. And the first match that was officially signed for Final Battle will feature Kingdom leader Matt Taven against former ROH World Champion Dalton Castle. Taven, the self-professed real world champion, will put his purple-leathered real world title belt on the line as these top stars face off in a can't-miss one-on-one match. Flip Gordon has been attacked, ambushed, and bullied at every turn by Bully Ray, but Flip has a chance to get the ultimate revenge, a chance to make Bully say, "I quit," this Friday. Final Battle will be highlighted by 4 championship matches. Ring of Honor World Television Champion Jeff Cobb will be appearing in his first Final Battle, and his title will be on the line against Hangman Adam Page of The Elite. In a 4-corner survival match, Sumi Sakai puts her Women of Honor World Championship on the line against Madison Rayne, Karen Q, and Kelly Klein, marking the 1-year anniversary of the initial announcement of this historic championship. Final Battle will be headlined by a double main event in a match that could be one for the ages. ROH World Tag Team Champion SoCal Uncensored, Frankie Kazarian and Scorpio Sky, literally will put their titles up for grabs in a ladder war against the 2 greatest tag teams in ROH history, Jay and Mark Briscoe, and the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson. And in a huge Final Battle co-main event, 2-time ROH World Champion Jay Lethal will defend his title against former champion Cody, who has been waiting a full year for a one-on-one rematch for the title since losing it to Dalton Castle at last year's Final Battle. All roads lead to G1 Supercard, co-promoted by ROH and New Japan Pro Wrestling, at sold-out Madison Square Garden on April 6, 2019. And the results of this Friday's Final Battle undoubtedly will have an impact on the historic show. Today we have scheduled 20 minutes each for our guests, the self-professed real world champion Matt Taven and Women of Honor star and championship contender Kelly Klein. So once I state your name and publication, I ask you to keep it to 1 question per guest in order to keep things running smoothly and to give everyone a chance to participate. As a reminder, please keep your phone on mute if you're not asking a question. With that said, I'd like to introduce our first guest, the leader of the kingdom, who will defend his real world championship against Dalton Castle this Friday, Matt Taven. Good afternoon, Matt.
Oh, my goodness. What a riveting read that just was. And you had one of many things incorrect, and that is that Matt Taven isn't the self-proclaimed real world champion. He's the Ring of Honor World Champion, Matt Taven. And that's me. It's good to be here.
All right. Well, I stand corrected. Let's start with our first question. Let's see who we're going to go to. Actually, someone was going to call in, but he is unavailable, so I'm going to be his proxy. Jim Varsalone from MiamiHerald.com. This is for Matt. With what your opponent has accomplished, do you feel this matchup is most important for your career and one of your biggest battles so far?
I mean, it's a historic match because it's my first defense of the Ring of Honor World Title, and what a fitting way to bring it out on pay-per-view and defend it for the first time than giving the rematch to the former champion Dalton Castle. So in that sense, it's a huge match for me. I want this to be chapter one of a historic title reign, and the only way that gets started is by a win in New York City.
All right, thank you. And he did have a follow-up, and please remember, I'm just the messenger here. Any comment on that Dolphins-Patriots game ending yesterday?
I wasn't expecting these kinds of questions. So fresh, so close, so much open woundage after what happened. So I'm not going to comment. That's ridiculous. Fluke wins. Whatever. We're moving on. So that has nothing to do with what's going to happen this weekend.
Fair enough. All right, next question from Alexandra Robertson from Slam Wrestling.
Hi. So as I've been told, this is a preview to the Supercard. Am I not mistaken?
I mean, it's safe to assume that, this is the end of 2018 going out with a bang with one of the biggest pay-per-views of the year, and right around the corner in 2019 is the Supercard. So you can easily assume that this is a giant launching pad to that event.
So does that put any pressure on you at all?
It's not something that will be on my mind in the moment, but to say that, Supercard at Madison Square Garden, a sold out, MSG, to say that isn't on my mind or in the back of my mind or something that's pushing me to work harder and to make sure that I do get a win at Final Battle is the Supercard of Honor event right around the corner. So is it distracting? No. Is it motivating? Of course. But I really don't need that in the first place.
Thank you.
All right. Next is Bill Pritchard from WrestleZone. Go ahead, Bill.
Hi. So I wanted to touch on Cody's comments about walking into free agency as a champion. Do you feel like that helps your stock if he's successful in that, and the company should maybe put a little more value on you as the real world champion?
I mean, whatever Cody wants to do with his life is his own business and nothing that I really concern myself with. But I think in general, with whatever the outcome of Jay Lethal and Cody Rhodes might be, that the company should put more stock in me as the Ring of Honor world champion, because the evidence is right there. The proof is in the pudding. And, we talked about this conspiracy for so long, and anytime I got an opportunity, I succeeded. And all this company needs to do is put me in position to put it on my back, and they would continue to succeed like they have been.
Do you feel like you can do something more to stand out?
Do I feel like I could do something more to stand out? I think I literally do everything I possibly could. Look at my performance in the ring, look at my performance on the mic, look at my performance at the merchandise stand. All right? What more does this company need? What more proof do they need? To me, I'm the Ring of Honor World Champion, and I've done everything imaginable, everything anyone could ask me to do. And I've done it well, and I've done it right.
Thank you.
All right, thanks. Next, there's a mysterious caller 9.
I like it.
I guess they want to be anonymous. All right, James Walsh from Wrestling Epicenter. Go ahead, James.
Good to talk to you again, Mr. Taven. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. So you're the real world champion, and there is another world champion in Ring of Honor. Are you hoping that somewhere down the road you get the opportunity to unify those two championships?
I mean, to me, I've done what I've set out to do, but to make sure I don't have Melvins ask me the same questions over and over and over again. Yeah, sure. Would I like to get in the ring and slap around Jay Lethal or Cody Rhodes and make sure that no one has a single doubt in their mind and everyone's thinking the same way I am? Sure. I wouldn't mind that at all. But right now, it's about me and Dalton Castle and me defeating the former champion, giving him his championship rematch, honoring a time-honored tradition in wrestling, and then moving forward to whoever the next contender is.
Beautiful. Thank you.
All right, next, Jason Powell from ProWrestling.net. Go ahead, Jason.
Yeah, Matt, as the leader of the kingdom, obviously there's benefits to it. Is there any negative, just in terms of you trying to be a standout singles wrestler? There's always going to be the temptation just to put you guys in six-man matches and things like that. Plus, you're trying to help elevate a couple of guys. So maybe just speak to the pros and cons of being the leader of the kingdom.
I mean, I really don't see any cons, because if I did, I wouldn't do it. Having your best friends to have your back everywhere you go and do, be by your side with everything you do is a pretty good pro, no matter which way you look at it. I'm getting to travel the world and live my dream and have my best friends, experience these things with me. It's not many people get to do that kind of thing. And then at the same time, I know when I'm in the ring, I always got two guys that I trust more than anything to have my back. I mean, I'm failing to see the downside of it. And again, whenever I've been given the opportunities, whether it's in six-man or singles, I've succeeded. I pinned the Ring of Honor World Champion in Fairfax. And then I've gone on to do nothing but win every single match I've been in since. I'm the Ring of Honor World Champion for a reason. So I feel like I stand out on my own, and six men, it doesn't really matter. So I see no con to it whatsoever.
All right, thank you. Next up is Nick Hausman from Wrestling Inc. Go ahead, Nick.
Hi, Matt. Thanks so much for taking the time today.
Oh, my God. It's been so long since we've talked, Nick.
I know, Matt. I wanted to start. I've got two questions for you, like everyone. My first one is, do you have any idea if your defense of the real Ring of Honor World Championship is going to main event Final Battle, or will Jay Lethal's Ring of Honor ROH World Championship main event? I should say close the show.
Way.
Okay.
I have not been told either way. I would assume that the real Ring of Honor World Champion should be the main event, but I've been talking about a Kingdom conspiracy for over a year now, and it wouldn't surprise me in the least if these Ring of Honor officials continue to do the wrong thing.
And then my follow-up here is I really enjoyed chatting with your Kingdom friend Vinny a couple weeks ago about a possible confrontation between the Kingdom and LIJ. Obviously, the Madison Square Garden show is going to be ROH and New Japan. Do you have any interest in a confrontation between the Kingdom and LIJ at that show?
Of course I do. I mean, I'm one of those kids that wanted every toy. I was an only child until I was 10 years old, and I didn't know how to handle having a little brother come into the mix because I'm used to getting my way. And it's something that has been that way just inside me since I was a child. And to want to succeed in every single thing I do is just something that continues to push me to do more and more and more. And yes, I'm the Ring of Honor World Champion. At the same time, I want to prove that the Kingdom is the best trio in the entire world. And, we've continued to do that at Ring of Honor, but I would like to do it on a global stage. Whether it happens at Honor Rising in February, whether it happens at Madison Square Garden, wherever the case may be, I want to show that there's a reason why I have multiple titles around my waist, and I want to defend them all properly.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very interesting. I would love to see Vinny and Evil share some space together. I just think it would be great. Thanks so much for the time, Matt.
No problem.
All right, and our final question for Matt will be from Ryan Satin from Pro Wrestling Sheet. Go ahead, Ryan.
Hey, what's up, man?
How we doing?
So, I'll be honest with you. Most of my questions were kind of taken here, so I have the most cookie cutter one left. But I mean, is there? But do you have any sort of strategy that you would be willing to share with us for Dalton this weekend that wouldn't be giving away too much?
I mean, there's not much that Dalton hasn't given away himself. Look at the guy. He's wrapped up like a mummy out there. He's got a brace around his hip, a brace around his back. You know, he had his hand wrapped like a mummy, you know, a couple of months before he ended up leaving in the first place. The guy is the walking wounded. And, you know, he's got big targets on certain spots that I know, and everyone in the crowd and everyone in the locker room knows he's been injured for a while. He had to leave and take time off because of these injuries. And I personally think that he probably came back a little too soon, and I'm going to make him regret coming back at all.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Okay, I think we have actually one more. Chris Featherstone, Pancakes and Power Slams. You there, Chris?
I am. Can you hear me?
Gotcha.
Yep, go ahead.
Okay. Matt, how are you today?
I'm very good. How are you?
Doing well. Last time you were on my show, we were talking about your Patriots. I'm a Titans fan, so just to let you know about that. So you guys got stomped by us. Yeah.
Exactly.
Onward to the question, sir.
So yeah, tough. I should have known the guy from Miami was going to ask about that Dolphins game.
So G1 Supercard, a big deal for Ring of Honor. 55 years unopposed for WWE, and you all in New Japan are coming in swinging to the fences. Now with Ring of Honor being unopposed, you usually compete with the TakeOver that weekend. Does it put more pressure on you specifically and Ring of Honor as a whole to have that day unopposed this year as opposed to different years?
I mean, I don't think whether there was another show going on or not, you know, anyone in the Ring of Honor in New Japan locker room would be any less excited for a sold-out Madison Square Garden.
Sure.
So to me, it's just one of those things where it's not that I feel the pressure from the outside world. I feel the pressure from myself. Just thinking about wrestling in Madison Square Garden, where you know I've grown up watching wrestling my entire life, and I've built memories with that roof in the background, and you know, also being a rabid NBA fan, you know, seeing Madison Square Garden, it's just been a place that I've wanted to go to, let alone, you know, walk through the curtain and wrestle and look up at that ceiling and look out at a sold out Madison Square Garden. I mean, that's just a big deal in the first place. So, whether people were going to go to the other show, I don't think it makes them be able to go to our show since it's sold out in the first place. So I just think it's not really a big deal on our end, and I'm just ready for it to happen.
Certainly. And to follow up on that real quick, what do you think? I mean, you talked about this briefly, but since you are the, quote, real Ring of Honor champion, what do you think about it being undisputed as the main event for the G1 Supercard against the winner of the final battle, I guess in your case, the fake ROH championship match between Jay Lethal and Cody?
I mean, that would make sense to me. Does it make sense to you?
It seems like a two-belt ladder match for the Undisputed Championship sounds good to me.
This seems like kind of a no-brainer, and you know, if it was to happen, you know that I would be game for it 110%.
Awesome. Well, best wishes to you, Matt, and go Titans.
Oh,
thanks, man.
No problem.
All right, thank you very much. Trying to see if we are looping Kelly in. Let's see. So thanks, Matt. I really appreciate you joining us and taking the time to answer all the questions.
you need to work on one thing. It's the Ring of Honor World Champion, Matt Taven. And now that I've told you, I don't want you to ever mess it up again, all right?
Yes, sir.
This is the Wrestling Epicenter. For over 15 years, we've brought you the top names in professional wrestling for exclusive interviews. Everybody you see here has been interviewed by our site. But we're more than just interviews. So be sure and check out WrestlingEpicenter.com for news, results, information, and of course our store. WrestlingEpicenter.com, your #1 source for wrestling information.